If you want to support me in this side channel, then a great way, aside from the side channel Patreon, is by buying some gamer subs for yourself. And you know what? This weekend exclusively, you can try gamer subs for free because you can go on the website and with the code Thorin, Thorin, you can get free samples with, wait for it, free shipping anywhere in the world. International shipping for free. Obviously, check out the other stuff on the website too. One of my newer favorite flavors would be cherry limesicle. There you go. Check it out. Link in the description box below. Now, for this video, where I've called it 10 great rap albums, as you know my style, I don't like to go too obvious. I don't want people to know like 7 or 8 of the albums. So I've avoided obvious stuff like Nas, Tupac, Jedi Mind Tricks. I'm assuming Jedi Mind Tricks is known for the love of you-know-what. Dr. Dre, MF Doom, Jay-Z, Kanye, A$AP Rock, Wu-Tang Clan, Beastie Boys, Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm just assuming you know these groups and you've heard the big albums of them. Otherwise, you're not really that in the rap, and will you even appreciate some more obscure stuff? But I've also made it intentionally rap, not just hip-hop, because actually I'll probably in the future do one of these for like Japanese hip-hop or new jazz or instrumental hip-hop at some point in time. Could easily do that. For me, a key component, even though this is rap, is the production. I actually think production value and how well they source the samples is probably the most important part of hip-hop, and it's the best part of hip-hop. So I actually think rap itself, the lyrics, the actual like verse, is so overrated. Now, I like battle rap, so they're incredible lyricists and rappers, but they're not tending to be on the studio stuff, and they're not the most famous people. Like, lyricism and technical delivery in most mainstream rap music is trash. Even in a lot of indie stuff, quite frankly. Like, I always tell people, like, Niggaz, basically, you could tell he's not from America because he doesn't know how bad some of those rappers actually are. He's just putting sick beats behind him and then they're just spitting trash over the top of it. It just sounds awesome because of Niggaz. So people like the sound of the rap music because of the production. So they go, this is dope. Wow, he is spitting. Even though like the wordplay is shit, metaphors non-existent. It's just about, I'll kill you, fuck you bitch, sell drugs in the street. I raised the block, did a bidding time, I didn't snitch out. Like, fucking hell. Is there anything to this? This could be done by like a soundboard or AI or something, mate. So let's get into it. Here's 10 of these bad boys that are actually good. First things first, Murs and Ninth Wonder, 2004's Murs 316, like the Bible verse, the 9th edition, because Ninth Wonder produced it. Now, I already did a Ninth Wonder album on that, like other albums thing, where it was Ninth Wonder and Sky Zoo, otherwise I would have picked that one. The key thing here is, Murs is a pretty good rapper, so it's got a nice flow, it's got amazing beats. I'm a big, big fan of Ninth Wonder. It's the reason why that's mine. Alter ego in CSGO when I play, because I don't use Thorin, do I? I think if you like Ninth Wonder, it's just soul sample heaven. This guy must be so good at digging in the crates, and he's so good at doing that like grimy lo-fi Fruity Loop style. Oh, he's just a master of his craft, and this is a really good album from him. Also, the Murs style, it isn't just the usual street rap. It's kind of more conscious rap. It's got like a responsible element in it for culture. It's reflective on who his life is and what his life journey's been overall. So I think that's actually quite a refreshing sort of side flavour as well that you're not used to in rap music. Number 2, it's not in order, obviously, these are just 10. The Lost Children of Babylon. This is 2005's. You can read the name of the album on the album cover. I'm not going to say it, am I? So, obviously, as you can see by the sort of imagery on the cover, and you can imagine with that imagery what angle they might be taking on this material, yes, this album is going to be offensive if you are like a patriotic American. It could even argue it's quite fucked up, maybe even irresponsible. But it's also, I mean, some of it hopefully is fictional, isn't it? I would say it's just a bit like Rage Against the Machine. If you've never bothered going and researching what Rage Against the Machine's talking about, yeah, when you listen to it, when you're like 16, you're like, give me an AK-47. The pig dog's blood will rain in the streets. Ha! And then you look into it, you're like, what? Who are they supporting and doing what? And also, they're the biggest sellouts of all time from day one, aren't they? Never mind now, you idiot. They didn't sell out later. They always were that. They were always a bunch of bums. So To me, this is a very unique group of rappers. They go all across the spectrum. Some are terrible, some are average, some are really good, some are like, oh, how's this guy not being made famous? They're just this collective that does a load of stuff and also work with certain other collectives of people, Army of the Pharaohs, etc., that you probably will know and has some overlap with. To me, you've never heard this album before. It's a really unique sort of concept album. It's fucking out there. And it's a really interesting approach to production. It's all like sound clips from news reports and things to do with the war in Iraq and Afghanistan and all that jazz. Number 3, Guru. This is 1993's Jazzmatazz Volume 1. Now, this is jazz-infused rap. It's basically rap with Guru, the guy from Gang Starr, over the top of jazz. I think done by that like Solar guy or whatever that he was in that like whatever relationship with. Now, to be fair, the best part of Gang Starr is DJ Premier, the producer. But Guru's certainly pretty good. Like, he's not a great technical rapper, but he's a good lyricist. He doesn't always just do the most obvious stuff. He's got a nice persona. I wouldn't say his flow's amazing, but he understands his flow, so it's consistent. Even if, yeah, some of his persona was bullshit, like I just alluded to, if you think of some of the things he's rapping about. But the thing is, this album is so maligned, and this project, because everyone's just hating on him for obvious reasons in the rap community, if you can think what they were like back then before they pretended for political reasons to be semi-woke. This is fire. I mean, some of these actual tracks you might know, like some of them are famous jazz tracks, but Guru's this just goes really well. I'm not even a big jazz fan, but I think this just works really, really well. It's very satisfying, and it's a totally unique take on rap and Guru's voice, if you've only heard the Gang Starr stuff. Number 4, Jizza Genius from the Wu-Tang Clan with 2008's Darts, or D-A-R-T-S, but I'm guessing it's Darts. It's supposed to be like little small joints, isn't it? Right, this is a really obscure Wu-Tang joint. Like, you're actually going to struggle to even find this, like, listed on official pages. I'm not even sure if that means it's some sort of, like, semi-scuffed, like, illegal recording, because some of it's some, like, live performances. This is a really awesome way to hear Jizza, though, because what it is it's just his cuts. Now, by the way, if you actually go and see a solo artist, if you go see Vinnie Paz, he'll do a bunch of Jedi mind tricks and he'll do the same thing. He'll just do his verse. He won't have whatever pleb he brings with him, but isn't the other rapper, do someone else's verse, because actually wouldn't be very satisfying. Well, he just do his, and as a result, you get more tracks. It's actually a way better way to do it, but it's quite a clever approach. It reminds me of what I've heard the Ramones used to do live, where they would just sort of play it 2 or 3 times faster. So in like an hour, you'd actually hear like 30 Ramones tracks instead of whatever, 10 or 15 or something. Number 5 is going to be Mace, 1997's Harlem World. Now, this is actually a bona fide hip-hop/rap classic, but it's one of those ones where even though normally I would leave this off a list, like this should be in the Nas thing, I don't think most modern-day people have heard this album. I think if I talk about B.I.G. and Tupac and Nas and Wu-Tang Clan and Jizzy, they're going to be, yeah. And if I go Mace, they're going to go, what? You mean that guy from the More Money, More Problems and like a gold, he's a meme, didn't he go Christian? And, he was a bum and a meme, he sucks either. No, this is fire. Like I said in that AMA when I talked about this is like the true successor to Biggie Smalls. He has the flow. It's really satisfying. He has the swagger. At the time, you believed it. He has the wordplay. It's got 90s beats. Yeah, that's right. Puffy in his prime before he became whack. When he's actually hitting them with that fucking take that. That Puffy. Puffy, not P. Diddy. Exactly. This is straight fire. Yeah, it's commercial. It's really good. It's from 1997, the prime era of that sort of hip-hop, right? Number 6 is Q Unique, 2004's Vengeance Is Mine. This should be really obscure. Like, you might know some of the people who, like, produced one of the 2 of the tracks, but I doubt you've ever heard of this main rapper. I think you're going to be really shocked when you hear it. It's real boom bap rap. It's hitting hard, spitting, like the production's pretty nice. It's not the best on this list, but it's pretty nice. It's punchy, which is what I like. I like that like snare sort of hit. And I like the drums to really hit, like the aforementioned Puff Daddy drums from back in the day. That's the style I like. And even though this is 2000s, this has some of that 90s feel. And then his rapping, you'd probably actually be surprised at his flow. Actually, how well he can sort of rap. Number 7, a little bit more commercial, is going to be Vinnie Paz's 2016 album, The Cornerstone of the Corner Store. Now, I'm not actually usually a fan of Vinnie Paz's solo stuff. I'm a really big fan of the Jedi Mind Tricks. I like even Stoop solo stuff. And I like some tracks off certain Vinnie Paz albums, certain Armies of the Pharaoh projects. This one is really good though. Like, this is easily his best solo album, in my opinion. It's quite recent. It's got some of his best rap tracks on. For my money, in like the early 2010s is when Vinnie Paz actually started to become a good rapper and actually started to get some technical ability and started to master his flow properly and not just make it all stuff that he read out of like a Velikovsky book or whatever, like from years earlier with obscure references and everything ridiculous. He actually started to get his schemes and his sort of like imagery together. And this is just when he's like mastered his style. This is just, if you're a big fan of Jedi Mind Tricks, you haven't heard this album, you are missing out. This is really good stuff. It doesn't have stupid production, but it has really good production. Like, this is going to be, some of these tracks on here are Herringbone. Unbelievable shit if you like Vinnie Paz. Number 8 is CAEN Project. The CAEN Project. 2008's Caesar's Vengeance. Even though, I will say, is that really supposed to be like plural Caesars getting vengeance? Like, I guess it could be because it's two people rapping, but wouldn't it really be like Caesar's vengeance? Because can you have multiple Caesars? Isn't there one Caesar at a time? Isn't there one king, one czar? Therefore, surely you are an illiterate cretin, and that should actually be the apostrophe before the S. So it's like Caesar's vengeance, but whatever. We'll forgive him for that, I guess, right? We'll let him go on that one. This is very much in the vein of some of the other more obscure albums I've listed here. There are some banger productions on this one, some real hard ones. And obviously they're trying to go online more of a conscious angle themselves. This is that hard drum beat that goes hand in hand with this exact type of boom bap rap. I think you're going to really enjoy this if you like the Jedi Mind Tricks type, Ill Bill, what else? Vinnie Paz, Jedi, what else with the other one? Oh, Immortal Technique. Surely this is right up your alley, but you just never heard it before. Similarly, number 9, Diabolic, 2010's Liar and a Thief. This is basically Vinnie Paz light, except at the time this album came out, he was technically a better rapper than Vinnie Paz was. He just didn't have stoop, and maybe his material wasn't as good, as a little bit more generic. This is from, like a lot of the albums on this list, that sort of Ill Bill type production school that has that really satisfying style, but with modern, like highly produced, like sound elements. Basically, this one has 2 collabs where you're immediately either going to recognize them or you're going to love them if you haven't. It has an Immortal Technique collab that's genuinely one of the best tracks he ever did. It has a Vinnie Paz collab that's pretty good. Like, these are some of their best collabs with other artists not on their projects. Finally, number 10 is going to be Dr. Octagon, 1996's Dr. Octagon, an ecologist. This is a Cool Keith rap. And this is a super different vibe in terms of rapping and production from anything else on this list. Maybe anything you've ever heard in the rap/hip-hop genre. It's laid back. It's more verbose and wordy. It's almost like an intelligent, conscious version of what mumble rap would become. The flow is really interesting. And it's great music sort of put in the background. You don't have to listen intently. You just have to be or coming out the speakers of your fucking car. This is more like you put on the headphones and you're thinking or you're reading a comic or something. This is some like very, very unique and obscure stuff, but it's real nice stuff. Now, coming off the topic of rap for a second, are you a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen? Because if you are, then Gamersupps has got a whole bunch of merch. You can pre-order stuff like shakers. They've got a flavour, cursed energy there. Obviously, like I said at the beginning of the video, remember there's that certain offer. And if you read between the lines, check out the store. This is the weekend to do it if you want to stock up, isn't it? My side channel is very much made possible thanks to my Patreon community. Now, this video was kindly supported by rawdota, Bo Ado Mushroom, and Yerka86. Do you want to choose a topic I focus on next on this channel? Would you like to ask a question for my regular AMA? Do you want teasers? Find out which guests are coming on Thorin next for those long, interesting, but unique interviews. Do you want to take part in an exclusive, never to be released discussion with me privately? Well, heed this call to action and join Thorin's side today via the Patreon link in the description box below.